Hey there, welcome to another episode of Study Abroad Diaries, Tales Beyond the Textbooks. Ever wonder what it's like to get sick while studying abroad? Curious about how to handle it and what the experience is really like in a foreign country? Well, this episode is for you. We'll be sharing our personal stories about getting sick abroad, how we managed, dealing with language barriers, and much more. We got one special guest joining us today. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Kacey Peguero. I'm currently a senior at Lima and I studied abroad in Florence, Italy last semester, fall of 2024.
Yeah, and welcome back, by the way. I
Thank
hope you
you.
enjoyed your trip.
I
So
did, I
let's
did.
get, yeah, so let's jump into it, shall we? Can you share the first time you got sick while abroad? Like, what happened?
Well, thank God I only got sick once, but it was very intense and detrimental. So it was actually the day
Mm.
after Halloween. So, we did go outside for Halloween, partaking in activities that students would.
Mhm.
And the next day, I woke up feeling so ill, like I could not move. I was bedridden. I was so nauseous. And, you would think that it's the usual, like, oh, post hangout, but no, this was way more intense than that. Like, it was crippling. Like, I was very nauseous, had extreme vertigo.
Oh my gosh, that's so like traumatizing.
Yes, it was so scary. I could not move. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink anything. I was just in bed,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I told myself if I felt like this the next day, I was just gonna go to the hospital because I could not move. I could not do anything. So it was very scary.
Oh my
But thank God we had the
gosh.
weekend off, so I didn't really like. I wasn't
Miss
worried about
anything.
exactly. I was just worried
Mhm.
about if I was gonna continue to feel like that.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary. Like I remember the first time I got sick. I think when I was in my first month of Japan, I don't know what it was, but like I started breaking out all over my face and my arms. Like I had red dots everywhere and I'm like, "Yo, am I having chicken pox?" And then I had to like I mean, I got better, but I
Hmm.
think it was maybe the water that I wasn't used to. Like
Okay, that makes sense.
I drink straight from the sabe, the tap water
Hmm.
because some
They
person in like TikTok said, "Oh, Japan water is so clean, like you can drink it anywhere." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then so yeah, that happened.
How did you overcome that? Like, how long did that last? And was it
I
like affecting your everyday like interactions?
I think it lasted for like probably a week, and at the time the classes didn't start yet, so thankfully
Okay.
nobody saw me like sick and terrible that day. So that's great, you
Did you
know.
have any help?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And when this is like the first time I got sick though. There's multiple times. Like every month there was
Oh,
something new. So
oh
yeah, we're
my
gonna
God.
get into that because
Okay.
ooh, it was bad. But yeah, I most of the time when I got sick, I was kind of by myself, and also I had like the IPCE office helping me.
Right. And
So yeah.
how did the IPCE office support you during those times?
I think when I communicated with them, they like, like I was talking to one specific advisor that knew a little bit about my because I talked a lot about my worries and my anxieties to her. So I had
Right.
one specific advisor where I would like ask her for help and say, "Hey, how you doing? I got sick again." So that's how I would reach out to her.
And how long were you in Japan for?
Um, I stood in Japan for like 4 months. So basically a semester, same as you, but I stayed in the spring and you stayed in the fall. So that was the only difference, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. How did you feel when you first realized you were getting sick? Was it overwhelming to be in a foreign country while not feeling your best?
Yes, it was overwhelming and scary and just a lot because while I knew that if I still felt like that the next day I would go to the hospital, it was just like the worry of like how would I get there? Like I didn't want to burden my roommates of having to come with me or having to assist me. But I just had to put my pride or ego or any of that aside because I genuinely needed help and I could not do it myself. And I didn't even have the capacity to like pick up the phone and text or email like a advisor because it was so crippling. Like I was just like, I'm gonna have to do this by myself. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I don't know how, but
Oh my
you know,
gosh. Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's actually nerve-wracking in its
yeah,
own way.
it was
So I
definitely a lot.
Yeah, I believe it. Like honestly, I whenever I got sick, actually, like every time I got sick, I would always call my mom. I was like, "Mom, I got sick again." And I would talk to her and stuff like that. Same with the
Mm.
advisor. I would tell her, "Hey, I got sick again. I don't know what to do." So,
Mhm.
yeah, that was a reoccurring thing for me. Like I would always like reach back home and see if there were any suggestions that they would have for me to feel better.
How
But in
many
your
times did you
case,
get sick?
once every month, I think.
Oh
So
my
like I
goodness.
felt like it was always in the beginning of the month too. Like
Oh,
for example, in April I got like a breakout. Then in May I had like my lips started like bloating up for some reason, and then I
mm.
had like a huge fever. It was the day after my birthday too.
Oh
So it
my
was
God, I'm so
bad.
sorry.
Oh, it was so bad. And then I think in June, I my foot started acting weird. I think it was because I was walking a lot more than usual and biking.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was really worried about that. And in July I crashed into a wall in my bicycle and
Oh
scraped my knee because I was trying to avoid a bee that was trying to sting me. So I
my
avoided the bee
God.
sting on the bright side.
No, Natalie. That sounds like such an intense experience, but you lived to tell the tale, thank God.
Exactly. Like there was like so many things happening to me at once. I was like, you know what? I know it's coming at this point. Something's gonna happen.
You
It
was
was
really
too
being
funny.
tested by the universe.
Exactly, for no reason. I don't even know what the hell I did to deserve
Oh
that.
my God.
But overall, I mean, I had a good time. So,
Right,
despite all
right.
that.
Thank goodness.
What was the hardest part about being sick? Like, was it like the language barrier, lack of comfort, or something else?
So it was the language barrier didn't really affect me because I had made a friend out there who studied the language and she was able to communicate on my behalf. Like she came with me to the hospital and everything. So
Oh,
if
that's
there were things that I didn't
nice.
understand, she would help me. And even the hospital paperwork that had my diagnosis, she was able to like break it down and tell me exactly what it meant. So that was amazing
Oh, that's
in
good.
itself. The biggest
Hmm.
thing was homesick. Like I was sick and I just wanted to be with my mom and my family and I just felt
Yeah.
so like alone. Like I wasn't alone, thank goodness. I really had the best support. My roommates were the best people. They helped me so much. And the advisors out there, they were very on top of like the students and making sure that they're okay. But
Yeah.
nobody can take away the feeling that your family gives you, it's just a support that you can't even begin to describe. So that was the biggest
Yeah.
thing for me. Like I just wanted to hug my mom, like so many new things. This thing that had never happened to me before, and it just felt like 100 things all at once. So
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, I believe
homesick.
that. I believe that. I remember like when when I think the language barrier for me was the hardest
Mm.
because I honestly had like maybe a few people that I knew that spoke like English. Like
Mhm.
the Lehman students I went with, along with like maybe one or two friends that spoke English. The rest of them, they spoke a different language, and we had to talk in Japanese to communicate.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, that it was hard. It was hard out there.
And are you fluent in Japanese?
I wouldn't say fluent, but I would say I understand enough to keep a conversation.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, I would say like maybe less than semi-fluent, but yeah, around there. And oh my gosh, my hospital visit was crazy, but how did you navigate the healthcare system in the country you were studying in? Was it easy to find help?
Well, lucky enough, we were before the semester started, we had tours and we were told where everything was. Like
Mm,
the hospital, I always passed the hospital on my way back to the house. So, I knew where it was, but
mm,
I don't think anybody can prepare you for what it's like to experience a hospital or something in that situation, especially in another
Yeah.
country and the language barrier. So, um, it was definitely a lot. And I have to remind you that I was extremely disoriented because I had extreme
Yeah.
vertigo and nausea. So like, there was a lot of times when I was in the hospital that I was like in and out, but I think they did a good job at assisting me and making sure that I was taken care of and
Mhm.
understood to the best of their ability what was happening. But I definitely think that there are some things that they could have done better in terms of like, since I'm a foreigner and there are some things that I didn't understand, they could have maybe had a translator or somebody to break it down even more, because I did feel like at the end when I got discharged that I was just like left for the dogs, go be free, go home, and I was
Oh
still
my
like
gosh.
extremely nauseous, extreme vertigo. I could barely walk straight, and they're telling me I'm getting discharged. Like I felt so alone and lost, and
I
I couldn't
believe
find
it,
my
yeah.
roommates, and it was just a lot. It
It's
was,
scary, yeah.
yes, yes. I
It's
don't want to like talk down on their health system because it's amazing and I think it's 100 times better than United
mm-hmm.
States, but that left me feeling extremely like, damn, left for dead.
I kind of get it because, like, for me personally, I have a fear of doctors. I do not like going to the doctors at all. Just like, I don't
Mhm.
know what it is, but every time I see like a pure white room, my palms start getting like super itchy. I
Yeah,
don't know why it's like
I can
that.
relate.
Yeah, so I'm not a doctor's person at all. I genuinely hate going to the doctors and I try to avoid going to the doctors because of how much it generally makes me really scared, you know?
Mhm.
So I kind of get like the feeling of, especially like you're going to the doctors by yourself and like, feeling alone is like, it's scary. It's scary. It's very
Yeah.
scary.
How was your hospital visit? Like your experience?
Ooh, my hospital visit was a little crazy because okay, so it was on May after I got sick and like my lips started bloating.
Mm.
After the bloat went down, I drink like a pedacito de garlic because like my mom was like, drink a garlic and you'll be better. And I'm like, okay. So I drank one and I felt a lot better. I don't know, she's very Dominican. So
Yeah, she did that.
yeah, so I did that. My lip went down and I started getting like a sore throat. So I was like, I think I got a fever afterwards for some reason. And it
Oh,
was the day where my friends and we planned a date to go to Universal Studios.
oh
And I
my
still had to pay for
goodness.
my ticket. So that was
No.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever
I
get to go to Universal?
Nope, I never got to go.
No.
I never
You
got
have
to
to
go.
relive that experience in a
I
better,
do.
lighter version.
I know. It was insane. And it's like I felt bad because I'm like, damn, like I already told them to pay for this and I got sick. Like this sucks, you know?
Yeah.
So it was actually one of my one of the Lehman students that were staying in there. Like he was kind of like a leader of like our group trip. So
Mhm.
I told him, "Hey, can you accompany to the hospital? Like, I don't think you have any classes." And he's like, "Sure, why not?" So me and him, we went to the hospital, and he was more fluent in Japanese than I was. So I had a little bit of confianza with him. I'm like, okay, if there's something I can't explain, he'll probably explain it better for me, you know?
Right.
And then when
That's
we
the
went
best thing you
there,
could do.
yeah, when we went there though, he didn't know anything that they were saying.
Oh my
Anything.
God, because the terms, it was just too much,
Yeah,
right? All the
because the
medical terms.
yeah, exactly. They were using very professional Japanese, so he got super confused when they were speaking. He's like, I don't know what they're saying at all. I'm like,
Oh
bro, I
my
brought you here for a
God.
reason.
No. Did they end up getting you a translator or anything?
We had Google Translate. That was the
Okay.
best thing we got, honestly. It was kind of hard because everything I would say, I didn't actually mean it in the way that Google was translating it. So
Okay.
yeah, it was confusing for them. They did a COVID test on me just in case if I had COVID. I didn't have COVID. It was a
Mhm.
weird disease, and I never figured out what it was because when I went to like when I waited and then I went to the doctor, like talked to the doctor, he wanted to put a camera up my nose.
Oh
And
no.
I told him, hell no, I don't want to. I tried to do it my best way, like my best Japanese, but at the time I wasn't really good. So I was like, I don't want to do it. Like I had tears in my eyes. I was crying. It was a whole
Right. And
mess.
then mix all that with like, you trying to communicate, trying to find the words, and that not being
Ooh,
your first language, and then you feeling
ooh.
the way you're feeling. Oh my God, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
It
And
was
they
bad.
I'm glad you're good now.
It was bad. And I think I was the loudest in the room actually because I felt like everybody heard my conversation. And
Mhm.
even the guy that I was with, because he had to stay in the he had to be outside of the room. He's like, I heard everything. I'm like, yo, this is embarrassing. Everybody knows that I was tearing up crying because I didn't want to be here. That is so embarrassing. And then the doctor was like, okay, but we can't diagnose you without putting this camera up your nose. And I'm like, okay,
Why
you
is
know
that
what?
so invasive? Like, how is
I
that the only
don't
way? Aren't
know.
they more advanced than us?
I don't even know. I don't know. All I knew is that I told him, hey, get put it like, can't you just check my throat in general and then just give me some medicine and call it a day? And they're like,
Right,
okay, but it's not gonna be the official diagnosis. I'm like, just give me whatever. I do not want a camera up my nose, please. So that's
right.
what they did. And they were like, oh, all you need is like cough medicine from pharmacy. And I'm like, okay, vibe. That's what I'm gonna get. And that's what I got. And after like a week, I got better.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
It was bad. Yours is worse though. I can imagine. Yours is definitely worse because you actually had to stay in the hospital. Like that's not
No,
easy at all.
I didn't stay overnight. This was all
Mm.
within like a day. Well,
Even
honestly,
still.
me and time, I didn't know what that was because I was living in the what is it? Like my head was just spinning round and round. So I
Oh,
was living in that. I wasn't really living for the world. I was just in my head really trying to get home.
yeah.
If it wasn't for my roommates, I think I would have just stayed in the hospital. And if somebody
Honestly. Oh my God, that's scary. Like if your roommate did not come, you would just be there. Like, oh
I
my
would just be
gosh.
there. I actually had to ask a local there that was also in the hospital. I was like, "Can I use your phone, please? I need to call, like, I need to contact my roommate. I need to contact somebody. I need help." Because
My God.
I got sick again while I was in the waiting room after I got discharged, and they're like, "You don't want to go back in. You don't want to like. Didn't they check you?" I'm like, "They checked me already. They told me to leave. I just need help."
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So did they give you like an actual diagnosis or
Yeah, I was diagnosed with vestibular neuritis, and only 1 in 4 people actually get
one
that.
in four?
1 in 4.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't even know where
Wow.
that came from, but
Do you think it was something that you ate or something?
I thought that it was something that I ate, but the doctor said it was just like my eardrum was something happened in my eardrum and it messed up my equilibrium, so I was all
Oh
over
my
the place.
gosh, all that
Yeah.
science terms. Holy crap.
Yes, I
That's
know.
terrible. Oh my gosh. Dang, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's terrible. That is terrible.
I'm
I can
sorry you had to
imagine.
go through that.
We both went through a lot abroad.
Right.
It's
In a
so
new
funny.
country.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have to deal with any surprises regarding the insurance or medical costs while abroad?
Well, no, I feel like everything was very straightforward. Like I did have
Mm.
to um I had to pay a bill after my experience. So after I got
Yeah,
discharged, but I didn't pay it right then and there because obviously I was still like my head was still woozing and I was just like I could do it later because you can pay online.
yeah, yeah.
Eventually when I got to it, I went back to the hospital and they have this machine system. It's very easy. You just put in the receipt and
Mm.
you pay. It was only $100, I think.
Oh
And
wow,
then
that's not
yeah,
bad.
yeah. And then I submitted the reimbursement for the insurance
Okay,
through CISI.
okay, okay. That's good. Like I think mine. Like it was a little surprising to me, not gonna lie to you, because a corona like virus test was like approximately $100. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's actually insanity. Like there's no way just doing a corona test is $100. It's probably even
Right,
more expensive here in the States, so I can't complain.
right.
But and I think the exam, quote unquote, that they did was like 60. So I had to pay like 160 out of pocket.
Okay.
And then I had to contact my insurance and tell them, hey, I paid this much. Can you reimburse me? And that's what they did. So
Did you have any trouble like submitting the claim?
yeah, I did. I did because it was confusing. I didn't understand it at
Mm.
all. So I told the guy that was with me, I'm like, hey, can you help me with this? And he just did it for me because I didn't understand a single thing or what to do. So it's good to have people that, from Lehman that actually know what they're doing.
And those paperwork that the study abroad office provided before we
Mhm,
left, I think
mhm.
they really helped as well. Like it tells you like,
Yes.
oh, who to contact,
Hmm.
what what to say, and Google, of course. Google and
Yeah.
ChatGPT were my best friends.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. Like for real. Oh my gosh. All right, question 8. Did you learn anything surprising about the healthcare system or medical practice in the country that you were studying
Mm, I wouldn't say it's surprising because
in?
I feel like the country speaks for itself. Like, the Italy is very aware of its citizens, and I feel like they just want they prosper on health, do good for yourself, eat good.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
health insurance is like they have health insurance trucks outside to make sure that their citizens are getting checked and they're getting regular cancer screenings because
Oh,
they smoke a
wow.
lot out there, so they just want to
Of
make sure that
course.
you're as
Oh,
healthy as you could possibly be. What about
um,
you? Did you get surprised with anything in terms of the healthcare?
yeah, I actually did. Like I mean, I wouldn't say it's surprising. I would say more like I was shocked at the moment. Like everything was so organized. Like each department was for a specific thing. Like when I saw the doctor that specialized in throat, ears, and nose.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was very, very organized, I could say. Despite me being a scaredy cat and everything, I saw
Mhm.
a lot of really good stuff. Like, just, so many different like departments
Like
and organization. It was so nice to see.
there was a lot of structure. And was the hospital itself like, did
Yes.
it feel cleaner? Like the air, like when I think about a hospital in Japan, I think about like the
Mhm.
futuristic type of hospital, very white, very like precise, clean. So is it like that? Or how would you describe
Now that I think about it, it did kind of look a little futuristic because there was like multiple floors with different departments and there were
it?
escalators and stuff like that and there was like clear glass all around. So it was kind of futuristic despite being such an old-fashioned town. Not gonna lie to
Ooh,
you, now that I remember. Like I wasn't like really focused at that at the moment,
right.
but yeah, I was not really focused in the moment.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah. So it was very interesting to see how clean and everything was and how future it kind of looked futuristic, but at the same time, it okay. So it looks like something that you would see in a K-drama or something. Like that's the
Okay,
best way I
okay.
can describe it. Yeah. So it's pretty good. It was pretty cool to see, even though I
Sounds
was suffering this stuff.
yeah,
All
and
right.
you're fine. Thank God.
Yeah, yeah. Did getting sick while studying abroad affected your mental health or sense of well-being? How did you cope with that?
Oof. Well, I had to take a week off of school and
Yeah.
just life because I was just recovering inside.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it really felt like because what was happening with my ear was messing up my sense of everything. Everything was just spinning. When I walked, I would literally start walking to the side because I could not walk straight. So I felt like I had to reteach myself how to walk and just how to function again. So I
Yeah.
had to like
Oh.
yes, I had to slowly like, oh, okay, so today I'm gonna try and walk outside. I had
Okay.
my roommates who helped me, and then obviously they couldn't always assist me because they had class and, a life of their
Yeah.
own. So I would start like, okay, I'm gonna walk to the corner today. Today I'm gonna try to
Mm,
walk to the bakery,
mm.
just
At least you
everything I
had
just took.
that. Yeah.
Yes, every day I did something to help me like progress
Mm.
myself and to help me feel better. Because if I would have just stayed inside, I think I would have felt a lot more. I think I would have felt everything more exemplified because the way
Mm.
the apartment was set up, we didn't get a lot of natural light, and I need sun and natural light to survive and thrive. So
Yeah, yeah. You had a really I think you had a really good friend group that helped you a lot, which is
yeah,
a really good thing because oh my gosh, having somebody there to at least help you around is so reassuring. That is so
yeah.
reassuring, I feel. Like I didn't have any roommates, so that's probably why.
So
But
you had to like take care of yourself essentially, like come.
basically,
How
yeah.
did you feed yourself and everything?
It was a challenge for a time just because I felt like nobody was there besides my Lehman friends, but nobody was there to help me. So it was a very for me, my mental health was not good.
Right,
My
because
mental
you were
health
like
was
alone.
yeah, at the time when I was sick. But once I got better, I was like, okay, animo, animo, let's go some places. Did you feel homesick or more isolated when you were unwell? Like when,
Uh,
especially being away from family. I know we discussed this a little bit though.
mm. I was definitely homesick and I felt bad because I didn't want to like really scare my family. I didn't really want to communicate too much on me being sick, but I had to eventually, especially after I went to the hospital. I just felt like I had to be
Yeah.
candid and tell them exactly what I was going through. But one
Yeah.
of my biggest, aside from being homesick, one of the biggest things is like I didn't want to scare them. My mom almost took a flight out there to help me,
Yeah.
but it's just like I knew that I was gonna get better eventually, especially after going to the hospital and then telling like,
Yeah.
you're fine, you just need to take this medicine and rest. So I just needed to let that kick in. So
Yeah, yeah. Which is good. That's a good thing. For sure. I also talked a little bit about being homesick as well. So
mm,
yeah, I always felt homesick when I that was the one
yeah.
time I felt homesick. When I got sick, I just felt homesick. But then when I got better, okay, ready to go, ready to go.
But no, but I feel like after I got sick, my homesickness definitely heightened. Like even after I was feeling better, I was just like I definitely enjoyed my experience and I was still living in the moment, but I still
Yeah.
really missed home.
Yeah, I get it. I get that too. Like missing your friends, your family, being there to experience the experiences that you're experiencing. Too much experience,
Yes,
but
yes, no, and them not being there, like I feel like one of the main things about being abroad is like wanting to experience that with your family and friends.
yeah, or with somebody that you're traveling with, that you're close with. You're like, oh my God, did you see that? Like, yeah. So
Yes.
I understand that too well, too well. Oh my goodness. That's giving me flashbacks for
Yeah.
real. All right. Looking back, do you have any funny memories related to being sick that you can laugh about now? Like for example, with me, right? I called my mom. I told her, "Hey, I'm not feeling well." She told me, "Tome un pedacito de garlic." And I'm like, "Okay." So, that's my funny story. Yeah.
Um, I don't. Oh,
Like
probably like after I would go on walks with my friends, like
mhm.
my roommates and stuff, and I would like have to literally lean on them for support because I couldn't walk straight, and just them having to describe certain, like basically the night, like let's say we would go on a night walk, they would have to
Mhm.
describe what's going on because sometimes I would have to walk with my eyes closed to like just realign myself.
Yeah.
But it was nice, I feel like living life through their eyes because they were
Yeah.
actually
On the bright side, right? That's a
yeah.
good way of looking at it.
Yes.
That's
And
true.
seeing things that I feel like I'm very attentive when I walk, but it's so interesting seeing things from another person's eyes to see what they're
Yeah.
focusing on when they walk. So that was nice.
It's true. That is so true, actually. You will never know what they're seeing and what you're seeing because you guys are two
Exactly.
different people. So that's a nice
Exactly.
that's a nice change of perspective for sure. Oh wow. That's something to think about. All right. Looking back, is there anything you'd wish you'd done differently in preparing for a potential health issue while studying abroad?
Hmm. I don't think so.
Hmm.
At least in this case, like, because this thing is not rare, but it's not so common that people get diagnosed with. I don't think that I could have
Yeah.
really prepared to
You
have.
couldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
But
impossible.
aside from that, like maybe like a regular flu, having just making sure to have like soup and things on hand so that you're not like having to leave the house and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. Like for me, I think I need just medication from home in general. Like just bringing
Mhm.
a bunch of medication from the States because Japanese medicine is so much weaker than
Mhm.
American medicine. Like it's so weak. Like a lot of them you have to water it down. That's
Wait,
like
that's
a
good
lot of
to
them are watered
know.
down. Yeah. Like it's good because that way like the medicine if you're drinking too much you don't get like, sick with that. But at the same
Right.
time if you are really sick, you won't get the results faster than you want it to be. So
Right.
that's
And
the
they tell you to
downside.
take a certain amount of dose. So it's like how many times you
Yeah.
have to take it to actually feel it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of that's why I say it's like a little weak because I've taken that throat medication for like 2 weeks and I still had a sore throat. So I feel like to prepare myself better, I would definitely bring like a medicine kit next time if I ever were to go abroad for a long time like that. Like every little medicine that I can think of for I can take it with me abroad is something that I think I should take next time.
But you know what scared me, like in terms of us talking about this, like how we had to
Hmm.
fill out paperwork before we left and if you had any medications. I was trying to go
Yes.
with the least amount of things as possible because I don't want to have to go through that process. But this is
Yeah.
like good to know because even though you might have to do the process and you have to like fill out paperwork, it's still gonna
Hmm.
help you in the long run. So, maybe that's
Yeah.
some good advice to give to future students, like don't not do it. If you have medication, bring it because it's gonna help you in the end.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. So, what advice would you give to students who might find themselves getting sick while studying abroad?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. For me, I would say let's like for example, if you have like a specific medication, I would say take a good amount, like talk to your doctor about it and take a good amount to the point where you'll be able to survive abroad with it because
Mhm.
they are very strict with sending medication in Japan. Like I remember I have like a specific disease that's common, but
Mhm.
I need my medication. And literally, they were giving me a really hard time, and I couldn't get my medication for like 3 to 4 months. Like
Oh my
at the
God.
last month, I got all my medication, and I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I survived for so long without it, so I don't need it anymore.
You're right,
So
that's so foul.
yeah, so I would say for anybody who actually has like a really serious like disease going abroad, I would suggest that maybe bringing your medication with you, like as much medication as you need. Talk to your doctor, talk to your insurance company and tell them, "Hey, I need this amount to go abroad because I'm going to be gone for a little bit." So that is something that I would suggest.
Wait, so your issue was like you had your medication, but in terms of getting a refill is where you had the problem?
Yes. So like
Okay.
not really a refill necessarily, more so just getting it from like, for example, right? My mom, she had my medication. She picked up my medication from the pharmacy. She just had
Mhm.
to send it and she kept sending it and they kept bringing it back because it didn't have the specific information in it. So that's something I would
Oh,
suggest. Yeah.
okay, okay. That's good to know. That's really good.
Yeah. So that's something I would highly suggest.
Besides the medication, I would say making sure you have some type of support. Like even if you probably don't, I highly doubt for most students, and I'm putting this energy out there that if you're studying abroad, you're gonna make at least one friend. So I
Yeah.
hope that you have like some type of support, and if not, really lean on the support that or the resources that you have available to you, because I know that we have a advisor, like you're given an advisor through IPCE, as well as the advisor that you have in that country. So definitely take
Mhm.
advantage and communicate to whoever's in charge, whoever's your advisor. Tell them how you're feeling, because they're gonna assist you tremendously
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
matter. And you won't have to feel so alone. Like, you're gonna be homesick, that's a given, but you don't have to be alone in the process.
That is very true. That is so true. Like Casey said, we have advisors here helping all the time. So if you need to reach out to any advisors, you can. But don't reach out to them like at 3 o'clock in the morning for them saying, "Hey, I need your help," because they won't respond until a little bit later, unless they're a night owl. So
Right.
that's
In
something
those
to also
cases, you
keep
would
in mind.
definitely have to reach out to your advisors and the professionals that you have in that country, whatever country you're setting
Exactly.
abroad.
That is true. That is the truth for sure. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope our listeners learned or related a little bit to our stories. Although getting sick abroad can be very nerve-wracking, there's always support system here to soothe your worries, which our office in Lehman 3 Carmen 337. So you won't have to be alone if this were to happen to you. However, please don't let that stop you from being interested in starting abroad. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Yay, thank you.
Bye.